Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sober School, where you can always find experience, strength, and hope. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic through and through. We want to welcome you to this platform here today, regardless of what your addiction may be. You are absolutely welcome here. We support your pathway to recovery, and whichever pathway it is that you choose. Well, we are here to help, and we definitely want to make sure that it works for you. If you're watching us through our Recovery Classroom Facebook group page, this is a private group. We want to welcome you here. And we also want to encourage you to share your own experience, strength, and hope, and your own words of wisdom. You never know who needs to hear what it is you might have to say. And it could just change someone's life, including your own. If you guys are local to the area tonight in Huntington, West Virginia, at the Point Cafe, beginning at 7 o'clock, we'll have our discussion points meeting tonight. It's a lot like the Crosstalk meeting, very laid back. It's located at 630 8th Avenue. And again, it'll be kicking off at 7 o'clock. Come on down, hang out with a bunch of drunks and drug addicts who all share a common problem. And we all share a common solution, too. So I want to encourage you. Speaking of Crosstalk, as I've shared before, the Crosstalk meeting is totally different. And whenever we get a topic in at the Crosstalk meeting and we don't get a chance to discuss it, what I'll do is the guys will give it to me and I'll bring them home and try to talk about them throughout the week. And I got 3 topics here: self-doubt, self-will, and faith. And I was running this morning. I was talking to an alcoholic kind of about those things last night, and then I was running this morning, and it really hit me. And it took me back to whenever I was a young child, really young, 7, 8, 10 years old maybe. And my mom and dad would always tell me, God loves you. God wants the best for you. God's got a plan for you. Man, so what? God's got a plan for you. I remember my mom and dad telling me that, and I was going, but if God's God, why the hell does he want me? But, okay, whatever. I believe that. So fast forward to, probably the spring of 2021, April, May-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. I couldn't see that plan. Matter of fact, I couldn't see hardly anything. All I could see was a bottle of Wild Turkey in front of me all the time. That was it. I had tried so many times over the years to stop drinking. I'd get sober for 3 months, and I'd do really good. At one point, I was sober for 4 years, and then I relapsed. By January 2018, man, I was back to drinking almost every single day. But I would say, okay, well, it's getting out of hand, so let me manage it. And I get sober for 3 months, relapse. Get sober for 2 months, relapse. And every time I'd have those foxhole prayers: God, just get me out of this, or God, just help me to stop. Just help me to stop, God. And I'd be like, wow, I stopped for 3 months. God, I swear I won't screw up this chance. Just give me one more chance, and I promise I won't screw it up. And I'd do good for 3 months, and then I'd relapse. God, just get me out of this foxhole prayer thing. Just get me out of this foxhole. I swear I won't screw this chance up. And then I'd relapse. I'd be sober 2 months and relapse again. And it was just over and over again. Finally, it got to the point where I couldn't even stay sober for a full day. And so that's where I was kind of at by spring of 2021. Dude, I had no hope. At that point, I'd already given up. There is no way in hell that God can't even help me to stop drinking. I mean, that's where I was at. God had tried. He'd given me all these chances. I kept saying, God, just give me one more chance. I swear I won't screw it up this time. I won't screw it up. But so by spring of 2021, I had screwed up every chance God had given me because I was the one trying to do it. I didn't quite yet understand the whole, step 2 and step 3 thing yet. Wasn't there yet, right? So by May, definitely by May and on in through June, I was hopeless. I lived that first half of 2021 absolutely hopeless, full of despair. I mean, the despair just oozed from me, man. I mean, it really did. Not to mention the smell of alcohol oozed from me. And so when I remember thinking I had screwed up every single chance God had given me. So he's not going to give me any more chances. And so July the 5th, 2021, is when I took my last drink around 11:15 p.m. I remember it clearly, standing right outside there by our pool on the phone with my best friend. Took my last drink. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. Tomorrow I'm going to do it. And July the 6th was my first full day of sobriety, and it was absolutely horrendous. The sweats, the racing heart rate, the elevated blood pressure, the tremors, the shakes, everything. Oh my gosh. You would have thought I just got done running a marathon. I was just saturated in sweat. It was absolutely horrendous. But I had fulfilled my vow to make it through one full day not taking a drink. And I remember when I laid down that night and I could hear my heartbeat racing I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. I mean, that's how powerful how high my blood pressure was. I could hear my heart rate in my ears. My hands were shaking as I'm laying flat on my back trying to go to sleep. And I remember I closed my eyes and I prayed. I remember thinking, this is how I'm going to die. This is exactly how I'm going. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow. I'm not going to wake up on July the 7th. Not going to happen. And I remember I just said, God, I turn this all over to you. If you're listening, which I don't think you are, but if you are, this is in your hands. And I woke up. It's like I clearly remember. It's like I didn't sleep, but I do remember opening my eyes and looking back up at the ceiling, and it was bright. So my bed is right beside this big bay window, and it was so bright. The sun was coming. I was going, holy shit! And then I was like, wait a minute, have I died? First thought, waking up July the 7th. This July the 7th is my day 2, by the way. So I'd already made it through day 1, but this is my day 2. And I remember thinking, have I died? And I kind of, I was laying there for a second and I was waiting to feel that pressure in my chest coming back. I was waiting to feel my hands tremoring. I was waiting to feel, to hear my heart rate and my heartbeat and my eardrums again. I was waiting for it all and nothing. I couldn't hear a thing. There's nothing going on. And I was like, oh my God, and I started wiggling my fingers. I must be dead. And I started trying to wiggle my fingers and I could feel my fingertips. Wiggle my toes, I could feel my toes. I stood up real quick on the edge of the bed and I was looking out that bay window and the grass was so green that morning. The grass was so green. My front yard, which is odd because it's usually not, but that's beside the point. July the 7th, 2021, I'll never forget how green that grass was, man. It was so beautiful. And I could hear, at that point, I started hearing birds and I started seeing the sunlight going through and I was going, I'm not dead. And it was just something inside of my head. I'm still processing all this, right? Something inside of my head, like an inaudible voice that wasn't audible. This is your last chance. I am sick and tired of all your excuses. This isn't your second chance. This is your last chance. And I'm going to remove all the obstacles from your recovery. I'm going to take away all the obstacles, all your excuses that I know you're going to use. I'm going to take all those excuses away because I want to see how serious you are. I'll never forget those words in my head. Like I said, it wasn't an audible voice, but it was like I could hear it in my head without hearing it, if that makes sense. If you've had a similar experience, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to see just how serious you are, Drew. If that's coming from God, then damn, I better step up and listen, right? This is your last chance. I was like, no pun intended, hold my beer. And I took off and I've never looked back. And that was a defining moment. And ever since then, I remember that day too, never had a shake, never had a tremor. My blood pressure was a little bit out of whack, but I still haven't heard my heart rate in my eardrums ever since that July the 6th. That was my July the 7th. And it wasn't until I was about 6 months in that I looked back and realized that was my spiritual awakening. That was my vital spiritual experience that Dr. Carl Jung references in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. That was that. But I didn't know that it was that going on at the time. It wasn't until much later. But I ask you today, are you looking for that second chance? Are you looking for that last chance? Do you think you're out of chances? I thought I was out of chances in June of 2021. I'd already blown every chance. I'd screwed up every single chance. And God said, this is your last chance. And what did I do when I got that last chance? I said, God, I'm turning it over to you. You're just going to have to guide me on this. He removed all my bullshit excuses. All the bullshit excuses he knew I was going to throw. He took them all away. I like to say I had a cupcake recovery after that, sort of. Like I said, I didn't have the withdrawal symptoms and all that anymore. But as I mentioned the other day, my life did kind of get a little eventful for sure once I got sober. So I want to ask you today, how serious are you? Are you serious about your sobriety? Are you serious about your recovery? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that you get sober and stay sober? If you think you're out of chances, I assure you, you're not. You know how I know? Because you're still breathing. You're still breathing. Take that chance. You won't regret it, I promise you. With that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys keep me sober, and I could not be more appreciative. I hope you guys have a kick-ass Tuesday. We'll be talking again this week. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.